Yeah, just give me all of the respect. I use your reverence as a reward. They know that I got the power and they looking at me like the source. Take my throne, boy, stop that. I'm on my hill, can't top that. Yeah, take this L, yeah, rock that. You know, I never needed a cosign. Yeah, I'm gon' shine. I rock independent. Representing like
What it do, Knick Universe? What it do, Knick Universe? What it do? KOD Nation, stand up, and all you DJs, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to a Wednesday, December 28th edition of the Knicks Morning Brew. I am your guy, Hector, and like always, I am chilling with my guys, Jiggaman Porto and Mr. Phil Porto. Fellas, how we doing?
First of all, I think we got to fix things. It's awkward, Phil. Like you usually. Hold on, all right.
It kind of messed me up when I was doing the introduction.
I'm already,
if you noticed that.
Yeah. The game already has me thrown off after last night. All right, I can't come in here this morning and have to worry about Phil looking up at me. It's all right, little brother. You don't have to look up to me anymore.
I hate you.
What up, guys? Man, I know we got a lot to talk about after last night. That was brutal. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because I think we got the right guests to come on here and kind of help talk through these feelings and emotions after last night because
super pumped.
Man.
And so I'm looking forward to today. One thing my wife always tells me, and you know, going through personal therapy, is that I suppress feelings. You know, I am a suppressing kind of feelings kind of guy. Like I can bottle them up until they get the best of me. And that's why I'm glad we have our guest, because our guest, all the feelings that I try to suppress, these guys kick them out immediately. Like these guys love just being real with their feelings. And sometimes I kind of I'll be scrolling through Nick's Twitter. I'm like, you know what? I just need to laugh right now. And where am I going? I'm going to Mo. I'm going to Poppa Left. I'm going to laugh a little bit and find some truth up in those nuggets of laughter. So yeah, I'm looking forward to today. Something to look forward to after last night's atrocity.
Definitely. And I wanted to share something real quick before we bring on our guests to the show. So as you guys know, I had some family that was in town, right, from Florida. So we went to Chinatown, right? Went to the markets in Chinatown, went to the little mall that's down there. And I got my aura read, right? My picture was taken and my aura was there and my aura was read, right? So as you guys see, it's a blue aura, right? I'm not sure if you can see. It's an ultrasound. I'm wearing. Shut up. I'm wearing a Knicks sweater, right? I'm wearing a Knicks sweater, right? So she saw this, right? And I kid you not, she saw this. She was like, "Oh, you're a very sensitive person." And I was like, "Miss, if you do not see the sweater that I'm wearing, I am a Knick fan. Of course I am sensitive. What are you talking about?" But no, she was like, "You are a very sensitive person." I was like, "I am." You're gonna make me cry.
It makes me laugh when if you know you're a sensitive person, why would that be your first line? Sir, I feel that you're a sensitive person. Let's talk about it. I was like, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Well, but shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. We got G Money in the building. Eric Wallace is in the building. What it do? And of course, the number one troll from the Knick community, Mr. DSJ Delano Still Jr. is in the building. Go ahead, Jigga.
Oh man, look. DSJ, bro, I need you in the chat today, bro. All right. I need those Lex Luthor comments coming. I need something to lift my spirits. Bro, let's not waste any more time. We got our boy backstage from the Knick Lounge. Big Mo, what's good, homie?
Oh, my guys, what's up? Pleasure being here. Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, yo, I appreciate not waking up this morning, seeing a message from you being like, yo, after last night, screw that. I'm not, we're not coming on this
There's a
morning.
lot to talk about after last night.
Oh yeah. It was horrible last night. But Big Mo, like Jigga said, appreciate you for joining us. What you and Poppa left do on Knick's Twitter, it's amazing. The space that you guys hold, and then on YouTube as well, and the conversations you guys have, it's amazing conversations. And one thing I can say about Knick fans, and I always try to bring this out when I'm having conversations to other sports content creators or other people who are fans of other teams, is that when you're around Knick fans and you're having a conversation with Knick fans, 98% of the time it has the energy of the barbershop, right? And if you don't understand the theme or the energy of the barbershop, you may get it in your fifis and you may feel some type of way, but you got to understand that at the end of the day, it's all love, and it's we have a passion for this team, and we want the same thing for this team. At the end of the day, we all want the same goal. We want a franchise that's going to put something together to finally win, because we haven't won since the 70s, right? It's been the Vietnam War since the last time the Knicks won.
Yeah.
Literally.
I agree.
Yeah. And
Well,
you know
so
what-
Mo,
what-
I want to. No, go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know what I love about what you guys are doing? You know, I feel like when I go into Knicks Twitter, it takes me back to my old days when me and my older brother, Jigga down there, used to watch the WWF, and then WCW kind of spawned off of that. You know, and everyone seems to be like their own character. I feel like as soon as we log into Knicks Twitter, like our costumes come on and we have like this persona. And I think sometimes people forget that like it's just Knicks Twitter. It's not real. It's like watching wrestling. You know, sometimes we have feelings, and so you got people that are like different, you know, players. And with you guys, I told this to the guys the other day. You guys remind me of when NWO first joined, or D Generation X. You know, like what are the groups that like some people love to hate, but a lot of it's just really entertaining at times as well. You know, and you have like your different guys between you guys and you know the Toxic Boys. You all kind of roll them together, you know, and like each one of you or something. You know, I feel like you would be like Steve Nash, you know, if you guys were NWO, you're like the big muscle.
I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Nah, he got. I see it with the toothpick. He's a Razor Ramon. I see him with the toothpick. I see it with the toothpick.
Razor. So you know, like at the end of the day, we all have personas, but I feel like we got to realize that it's Knicks Twitter. When we all get off, it's all good. It's all good. You know, like me and South go back all the time. But like when South makes a good point, who's 100? Me. You know, vice versa, same thing. Agree to disagree where we do. And so that's what I love about what you guys are doing. And I look forward to this conversation because, like we said earlier, you guys speak your mind. You know, and there's a lot to speak about today. I can hear you yelling.
I appreciate that, man. I
can hear Phil yelling out, "What you gonna do when the orange and blue run wild on you?"
I appreciate you, Eric Wallace. He said, "I just subbed to you right now, Big Mo. Appreciate you, E-Dub.
Thank you very much."
So, Mo, before we jump into the conversation that we all want to avoid this morning, what kind of got you guys started with the Knick Lounge? Do you mind kind of touching on that with us, man? Because you guys have been in the space for a minute, right? People know that the Knicks Brew, when it comes to Twitter spaces and stuff, we're new to the scene, right? KOD Media, we've been in effect now a little over a year and a half, you know, doing content, but we're realizing that's a big world over there, man. You guys have been a big part of it. What kind of brought the vision of the Knick Lounge together?
So I've been on Twitter for about 10 years now, but I went on Twitter honestly because of Anthony MSG. Anthony MSG started Twitter a while ago. He was the first person to start doing videos on YouTube, and I started following his story. I got cool with him. I met him a couple of years ago, and since then, Knicks Twitter started to get bigger. Like it wasn't just Reddit; it started to get on Knicks Twitter. And I met Poppa left on Knicks Twitter, and we kept on speaking. Me and him, we had a lot of thoughts that are very similar. I like the way that he thought about basketball. I thought that whatever he used to say, I most likely agreed with him most of the times, and vice versa. We started getting close. Met up with each other a couple of times, and I just felt like there's too many Knick fans across the world, and I feel like we're too knowledgeable in this sport to not be doing something with it and try to take advantage of the opportunity. So I realized how big social media was getting, and I was like, you know what? Let's get a platform where everybody can talk their Knicks takes. Everyone has their own opinions, and you go from there. I mean, I've been a Knicks season ticket holder for the past 12 years. I go to like 25, 30 games a year. I try to go as many games as I can, but this year I said, you know what? We'll put that to the side. So Poppa and I, we started the Knick launch together, giving the experience of a live stream to all Knick fans. Let people talk in the chat with us, tell us what they think, how they feel. We talk about it as well, and we'll continue to go from there.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
solid. Shout out to Anthony MSG,
yes.
a friend of the network as well. You know, Mr. I Kill It on Instagram Lives. All right. Listen, that man gets so many super chats on those Instagram Lives. He's like, hey, I'm Anthony, and boom, $10. I'm like, what the hell? I try that shit all the time. I went on Instagram Live. I was like, maybe I should say my name's Anthony. I was like, hi, I'm Anthony. No $10. All right. I didn't get nothing. But that's dope because you guys do so much. And I definitely got questions for Left when he gets here. Because I feel like our win streak may have been, was his verse only 8 bars in that last track with with J Boog? We need to go back and check because it would make sense. All right, 8 bars, 8 wins. I'm just saying. Phil.
Yeah. No, I think he dropped to 16. Unfortunately, we did not. So that was unfortunate. He killed that verse. You know, I'm looking forward to actually collaborating with him very soon. So that's cool. But let's chop up this game. You know, I want to hear everybody's kind of thoughts, everybody's kind of takeaways, because I feel like even with an L, there's certain things, good or bad, that we can learn from every single game as fans of basketball. So yeah, whoever wants to bump in, I'll take the back seat.
I've started off and I'll throw with a Big Mo. I'm gonna just keep it real quick. That last 30 seconds hurt. It hurt to watch in regulations. Got to give credit where credit's due. Luka Doncic, who is the slowest NBA player in the history of the NBA. You got to give him credit. That man's a baller. He may not be the fastest out there. He may not be the toughest or could jump the highest. But when it comes to playing basketball, that man's like Dexter Laboratory. He has an artificial intelligence in his brain as he's going down the court to tell him what to do and when to do it. So you got to give Luka credit. 60 points on a triple-double. I don't think that's been – I think somebody put in the chat that's the first time that's ever happened. I just hate that it had to happen against our team. If you look – on the past 7 days, right? We had Pascal Siakam go off for 50 points. If I'm not mistaken, I think Joel Embiid had 40 points in that Christmas game. And now Luka Doncic went off for 60 points. So defense, anybody? Can we get defense out there? But it was disappointing the last 30 seconds. The guys look gassed. They look like they were just out of all types of energy. They definitely needed that Space Jam water in order to get through that overtime. But hopefully we could bounce back. I'm just upset that we didn't even see not even 30 seconds of Cam Reddish with all those injuries and all those bodies that was off the court. Go ahead, Big Mo.
No, I agree. I mean, to me, the biggest thing is if Tom Thibodeau wants to run this 8 or 9 man rotation, right? And as much as Knick fans want to love what's going on and enjoy that winning streak, it's not sustainable. And people have to realize that. Okay. This is a wing dominant league. Yeah, you have a 23-year-old Cam Reddish that's 6'8", can play 2 sides of the ball, can defend 1 through 4, very versatile player, doesn't need the ball in his hands to do well, can knock down the 3-point shot, can take it to the basket, probably has the best ball handling on the team, one of the best finishers on the team, one of the best free throw shooters on the team, and he hasn't been playing. So whether something happened between him and Tibbs, whether it's a mutual agreement for him not to play, I mean, I think it's disgusting. To me, your main goal, whether your team tank or your team win. So people prior to the season started knew that I was one of the guys that wanted team tank. Now, when we speak about the younger guys playing, it's for a reason. If the younger guys are playing and the Knicks are winning games, I don't mind it, man. Because you're developing your younger guys. You're starting to see who you want to keep on this roster moving forward. You're deciding to see who these role players are going to be before you acquire that star. Because you can't just win with stars and you can't just win with role players. You have to have an equal mesh on that team. So now yesterday just shows you that you have a guy like Emmanuel Quickly who was able to start, had 11 assists in the first half, showed Tom Thibodeau, this is what I can do when I have the ball in my hands in consistent minutes, playing freely. Instead of playing behind Alec Burks for 40 minutes, instead of playing behind all these other guys, you're giving me the opportunity to shine. I'll do what I have to do. I'm not the biggest IQ lover, but I think with the opportunity that he had yesterday, he took advantage of it.
Facts.
Deuce McBride, a small guard, came out of Westchester, kid played at WVU. You're telling me, as much as I like his defense, that there was no way that you could have put Cam Reddish into the game yesterday?
Yeah.
Luka Doncic is one of the smartest players that this NBA has seen. Such high basketball IQ. He's been a pro since he was 15 years old. The guy plays at his own pace. I wouldn't say slow. I think he plays at his own pace, and he's mastered it, where he does what he wants, and he knows what the defense is going to do, whether they're going to jump early, whether they're going to get off their feet. He's a very, very smart basketball player. And he's the second person with a 60-point triple-double. James Harden was first, but he's the only person with a 60-20-10. So
okay.
It's something special. But to me, if that happens, someone should get fired immediately. I mean, your main goal as Tom Thibodeau is that you want to win games and try to make it to the playoffs, right? After that loss to Dallas at home, when you guys were up and you lost, 47 to 14 points in that third quarter, I don't think Thibodeau was the one on the hot seat. I think it was more Leon Rose. I think Leon Rose is the one that was on the hot seat before anything, and that if they would continue losing games, something would have changed. Knicks fans got happy with that 8-game winning streak. You guys have to stop talking about losing. You have to stop talking about this. It was nice to see the younger guys do well. It was nice to see RJ start playing better after being on a cold start. It was nice to see Julius Randle playing some good basketball offensively as well. It's nice to see these guys taking advantage of what they can possibly do when they get to the basket instead of forcing stuff up. So I'll give it to them, but it's not sustainable and it's not going to last.
Yeah. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I see you chomping at the bit, bro. He's ready.
Yeah, you see him with that Pac-Man shirt. He's ready to go. Go.
Honestly, I seriously worry because I feel like Luka was Pac-Man. Like, whatever he wanted to do last night, like, he just started getting those yellow little things like it was nothing. Anytime our players thought that they were going to stop him, they were like those little ghosts that he just ate up. Like, it was just rough. You know, and here's my thing, man. The other day, here's the problem, I think, with the Knicks is right now is we do something, and then when we realize it stops working, we don't make adjustments. Like, you had a guy like Niang, who's a role player at best, like the other day, light us up from 3. And in the post-game interview, which we talked about, him pretty much say, I haven't seen a drop-down coverage like that since college. Like, if they're going to give me those shots, of course I'm going to take them. Like, and he ate us up. If we can get eaten up by a role player like Niang from that drop-down coverage, and then we're going to play that against a talent like Luka a few nights later and not think we're going to get destroyed, that's just madness. Like, if a role player like Niang can light us up like that and make us lose a game, what do you think is going to happen when Luka Doncic comes on the court and we do the same exact thing? Like, someone that is way better of a player. Like, it's sad because he was 60, 21, and 10. Imagine if this was at the Garden. He would probably have like 78, 30, and 20. Like, it would just be ridiculous because that's just what happens, you know? So the thing about it is, as good as that 8-game was, which we can talk about a little more later because I want to talk about it, we learned a lot of good things from that. But like Mo said, it's not sustainable because we don't make changes on the fly that need to happen. Like yesterday, when JaVale McGee came in, we knew what was happening. Like, everybody, the announcers, the fans, anyone watching that game knew Luka was going to botch this free throw so that they could get the rebound and try to put it back up. They bring in JaVale McGee to make that possible. They bring in the height. We have Miles McBride down there to grab a rebound, as opposed to bringing in Sims so that Sims and Mitchell Robinson could box out JaVale McGee and the rest of their team to grab that rebound. And who gets the rebound? Them. Why? Because Jason Kidd thinks of the moment, not, oh, this is what I do no matter what, through and through. Jason Kidd looked at the specific play, made the changes that need to be happening, because JaVale didn't play a single minute up until that point. He played 2 minutes and 38 seconds, and it started right at that play that changed the game. We do not have a coach that's willing to change things on the fly because he is so stuck in his ways. Oh, 9-man rotation worked for 8 games. It's going to work all season. No, it's shown for the last few games it's not. And his lack of being willing to change really bit us in the butt last night. And we lost that game because of poor coaching in the fourth.
Yeah. And, you know, I said it in the last show, when it comes to little decisions like that, it's little mental errors. And that's what's hurting our team. And I get it. We went on an 8-game winning streak. We're 18-17 right now. December 28th, right before the new year, well, 1 game over 500 in the hunt for the playoffs. I understand that. I get all of that. You can't just tease us though, right? Because that's what happens. We get teased. The season started the way the season started. It seemed like it was a mess, and then we seemed like we put it together. Like I said, went on that 8-game winning streak, and then we came back to earth now on a 4-game losing streak, right? So when it comes to Tibbs, I understand what you're saying, Phil. Trust me, I get what you're saying. We all lose here just from thinking about Tom Thibodeau, right? But the one takeaway if we're going to have a takeaway from that game, is the fact that Jericho Sims did play more minutes than Isaiah Hartenstein. If I'm going to look at anything, and if I'm going to take anything away, to me, that was the big thing that I took away from that game, was that when Obi Toppin comes back, it seems like Jericho Sims is going to get more minutes than Isaiah Hartenstein. Sims yesterday played almost 14 minutes. Isaiah Hartenstein only played like 11 minutes. I get it. It's just 3 minutes, but in the grand scheme of thing, when knowing Tom Thibodeau and knowing the things that he does, he plays you if you play defense. And that's the thing he cares about. If you're out there playing defense. I love Obi Toppin. I want him to come back and just fit just like a glove when it comes to that second unit. But he needs to have a defender out there with him. And I think Jericho Sims is a better defender than Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, with Jericho Sims out, Isaiah Hartenstein at the power forward position, he seems a lot better when it comes to the defensive side of things than he does by guarding the center. That just may be just just who's in front of him, the opponents he has at the moment. But I think when he comes back, when Obi comes back, allow Sims to get a bigger role than what he was getting before. Go ahead, Mo.
I think it's on Jigga, but
Jigga, whoever.
So yeah, all right. Damn, because I really told myself I wasn't gonna have to put money in the swear jar today. All right. So
you already did once.
Oh, did I? Good. I'm gonna keep going because last night was dog shit. All right. You guys are ready to move on and talk about Obi. I'm not ready to go there yet. Last night was criminal. Okay. I understand we've all been trying to find like the highlights in the last couple of games when we've lost, right? But this. I'm not ready to do that after last night. Okay. Because let's be real. I'm tired of people saying Knicks don't make stars. We do. All right. Look at Luka. Look at Siakam. We make stars, people. All right. It just happens to be when they play against us. Last night was criminal. We have RJ out with that right off the gate, right? We got Jalen out. I don't care what you've got going on with that front office. You still got guys on the bench. What you showed me last night is you do not care if we win. Because if you're going to sit there and let these guys not even come in and give our other guys a break when we literally are depleted, that wasn't we've got a trade plan in place. We're making moves that we think are going to better the franchise. No, you looked me in the face and said, hey, I don't give a crap how much money you spend on this fan base. I don't care how much you do for the Knicks universe. We don't care to win. And you're going to watch this game. You're going to watch the next one. We don't care. I hope you enjoyed the Luka show. That's what I was told last night. And if anybody disagrees with me, I don't care. This was one of those ones that really pissed me off. Because at the end of the day, if you didn't bring any of those guys in when we looked as gassed as we did, that's a problem. Were there highs in yesterday's game? 100%. To be able to roll with the lackluster rotation that we have, guys gassed as can be, to still have the game that we had last night, yeah, it was a roller coaster. It was fun. No one likes to watch what happened. That was a miracle game last night. That put back everything that happened. I mean, you can't write it any better for Luka. But, guys, I'm sorry. If anybody can look me in the face and say, no, they really do have a plan, guys. It's going to be fine. Tibbs is under control. Rose has got it. Then that 8-game winning streak really fooled the shit out of you. Because the one thing I said on our show and other spaces that we've been on has been the same thing. I did not let the 8-game win streak fool me that all of a sudden things were perfect in Knicks universe. No, we had a taste of excitement. We got to see the young guys play. We got to see that, hey, we do have pieces. But, guys, it's not like Leon and these guys and Tibbs all of a sudden became an amazing organization overnight that we believe in. We caught lightning in a bottle. It was fun. But now we got to see the other side of it. And when we've got these people sitting there saying, hey, we don't care, guys. We're not going to play Cam. Oh, no, we don't care, guys. We're not going to put this guy. Oh, no, we don't care. So what happens if we lose another player, Mo? What happens if another guy goes down? Now everybody keeps saying, we've got this 8-9-man rotation. If you keep having guys fall down, you don't really have an 8-9 rotation. You've got, here's the only guys we're willing to play, and we're just going to throw them in there.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like last night was the biggest slap in the face from the front office, and the first time this season that I felt like they literally said, we don't care if we win or not, guys.
Yeah, $40 million on the bench and hoodies, not even getting an opportunity to play. That's why I kept on mentioning that it's not sustainable. I mean, like I told people in that 8-game winning streak, it's nice. It's good to see. It's good for you to be happy as a Knicks fan to watch your guys play good basketball, to watch RJ come back, to watch Julius Randle play good, to watch Jalen Brunson do what he has to do. But humble yourselves, like don't expect this to last. You still haven't played it. The Knicks got lucky as hell, man. We played multiple teams that winning streak without their star players. Got pretty lucky. We got pretty lucky. And I'm not going to discredit the Knicks players. No, they played well. But yesterday we had 6 minutes of 3 point guards and 2 centers on the court. Derrick Rose, McBride, IQ with Jericho Sims and Isaiah Hartenstein. That was disgusting. That should never be on an NBA court ever.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. But again, if you don't want to play these guys on the bench that you're paying $40 million for to just sit on that bench, trade them. If it's not going to happen, you can trade players now. You don't have to wait until February. Trade them, get something back so you can continue growing. And my biggest problem from last night that bothered me the most is that you played such great basketball for 40 minutes where everyone's playing for themselves. No one was playing me or ISO ball. The ball was moving. People were moving without the ball. Cuts were being made. You were able to play some defense. Why did you guys switch up in the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter? Don't you guys realize that every game where you guys lose a lead in the end of the fourth, that you guys go back to that ISO ball? Like every Knick fan yesterday, even if you hated Julius Randle, was applauding him for having such a great game. But in that last 5 minutes, when they start playing ISO ball and Emmanuel quickly goes ice cold from passing the basketball, it's terrible. That's when your point guard should have the ball in his hands. Continue to do what you guys did to gain that lead throughout the whole game. You were up since 9-8 in the first quarter. Continue to do what you guys win. Why did you guys go back to your losing traits? And you can tell me they're tired. I'll agree with you. They're tired. Then make a sub. Get someone else into the game. Because there's no reason we should lose that game last night. That's embarrassing.
Here's the thing about that excuse.
Hold on, Phil, before you go. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Nathan in the chat. What up, my guy over there doing big things with the NR Hour Sports Show. Reminder, Hector, I forgot. You got to leave today at around 11:50, 11:55.
Yeah, 11. Yeah.
We got you lined up. You got an interview at 12 o'clock, right?
Yeah, just a light little interview with Rob Brantley from the New York Yankees. Just something light. Just light.
All right. So, Nathan, appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to stay behind, all right? I'm going to hang out with Big Mo. I'm going to hang out with Papa Left. I'm going to hang out with Phil. I figure any show that gets me to call a grown man Papa live on TV, I might as well hang out here for a while. All right, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah. Hold on, wait. Before Phil's go, I just want to say this. I want to give you some ammunition, Phil, because I know you're about to go off on Tom Thibodeau. But last night's game, right? Check this out. Emmanuel quickly played 51 minutes. Julius Randle played 45 minutes. Quentin Grimes played 48 minutes. And Deuce McBride played 46 minutes. I think in last night's game, Deuce McBride played more minutes last night than he did the entire season of last year. Go ahead, Phil.
Yo, so here's the big freaking thing for me, man. When Mo was talking about like, oh, I understand you're tired. That's your excuse, whatever. Like, no, I don't understand that excuse because whenever I play ball and I'm exhausted, the last thing I'm trying to do is figure out how I'm going to dribble past 5 guys to make it to the basket. I'm looking for somebody else that I can give the ball to because my old self is exhausted and tired, and I don't have it in me to actually try to pull it off. But I'm thinking of the win. I'm not thinking about me shining. That is the huge problem with our Knicks roster with guys like Quick and Randall, and a lot of times with Brunson, is they all want to be the guy that can get the congratulations at the end of the game, where people go, man, you guys played great, but in that last 6 minutes, it was the Randall show, and that's why you guys won. Like, I am sick and tired of the pride and arrogance and the coach who has no backbone to be able to go, timeout, whoever plays ISO ball for these last 6 minutes, you could just sit down because this game is too important for us to lose. All those players, no matter how gassed they are, it's their pride that fuel them in the last few minutes of the basketball games that always get us an L in the end. And that's ridiculous. The only games we actually win is when we actually have players that play 4 quarters of being able to distribute the ball, and actually create. That's the only reason we were ahead, even without Jalen Brunson and without RJ Barrett. We had the opportunity of walking away and everyone being able to be like, yo, without their lead players, they still put it on the Mavericks. But instead, we get, of course, the Knicks fumble it in the last 33 seconds of regulation. Why? Because our pride is way too powerful for our actual team to ever find success. And it's ridiculous that we don't have a coach that can tamper that.
But you know what? Mo said it, right? The beginning of that game, I mean, we had 3 quarters of team ball. It felt like we were looking at a team, right? The we talk about on the show all the time, the chemistry. I want to see it. I felt like we saw that. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, these guys must have all got together, had like that team trust fall exercise and shit. Like, everybody was just meshing so well. Yeah, and then obviously fourth quarter happened. But shout out Kenny Payne in the chat. Said, wow, my favorite channels merged together. Shout out Big Mo. Big Mo's got
fans. Shout out to Kenny Payne. Shout out to Kenny Payne. But no, it's frustrating, right? Because it's little fixes that can be corrected, right? When it comes to just the mental mistakes. Like Big Mo said, for the first 3 quarters, tremendous team ball. In the first half, Emmanuel quickly had 11 assists in the first half. That's awesome. He only had 4 the rest of the way, 15 for the entire game, right? So yes, great 11 assists in the first half, but you have to be consistent for the entire game. Should have at least not 4, maybe 6, 7, or 8, right? If you want to put it in perspective, right? But then again, towards the end, credit to Deuce McBride for knocking down his free throws, but he did miss a free throw. Julius Randle missed free throws. Quentin Grimes again missed another clutch free throw towards the end of the game. It's just the little mental errors that are just standing out like a sore thumb. Because when you're a team and you're not used to actually closing games out and you're not actually used to winning on a regular basis, it's those little moments that get the better of you and make you lose. You do it to yourself by not just doing the simple things like knocking down free throws, understanding your assignment, understanding that you got to box people out when it comes to getting the rebound on a missed free throw, right? Like Phil said, if they're going to put JaVale McGee in that situation, Tibbs, at least put your 3 centers out there. Put Mitchell Robinson, Jericho Sims, and Isaiah Hartenstein out there with Julius Randle. Put some bodies out there to make sure that you get that rebound. You need to get the rebound. And it also goes to when it comes to Tibbs, his coaching strategy, right? He didn't challenge when he should have challenged a lot of calls. When the referees obviously have blunders, he's not challenging them. Just like in that game against Chicago, that was a lane violation. He didn't challenge that it was a lane violation. He make no noise that it was a lane violation, but it was a lane violation towards the end of the game. It's just little things like that. It's just, yes, we could blame the players, but at the same time, Tibbs, how long you been in the NBA? How long have you been an assistant coach? How long have you been around these circles? You should know the game. You should understand, all right, this is a new rule that's been implemented. Take advantage of it. Look at your bench. Look at your video guys. They're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars just to be video guys. Look at them and take advantage of them.
Yeah, man, I think the most important thing is that Tom Thibodeau should be held accountable, man. And again, like Knicks fans, it's, to me, this season is going to end up similar to last season, where you're going to be dealing with mediocrity. I had the Knicks record at 38-44 prior to the season starting. I still see them around a 500 team. That's the way that they are, depending on what moves are going to be made. You'll win 2 games, 3 games, you'll lose 2-3. You'll win 5, you'll lose 7. You'll lose 7, you'll win 6. Like, I think it's the same thing's going to happen. Things aren't sustainable, but I just think that the coach has to be held accountable for the stuff that he's been doing. Yesterday, the first 2.5, 3 quarters, he couldn't tell them what to do because he had no choice. Mm-hmm. These are the players that you're playing. They know that. So they played freely. They did what they wanted to do. And it just shows you how Tom Thibodeau holds a lot of his players back. He left RJ Barrett in the corner for 2.5 years until he pushed him down to the wing because Evan Fournier isn't playing. And people are forgetting about that. RJ started coming out to the wing. He's touching the ball on every possession. He's able to get more buckets, getting more looks instead of him being at the 3-point line. Obi Toppin, you said that you like him a lot, Hector. I don't think Obi Toppin's going to come back and play a lot. I don't see him play more than 9 to 12 minutes a game. If Julius Randle's playing good basketball, I don't see Obi Toppin playing. As much as I've bashed Julius Randle for the past 2 years, completely bashed them on the timeline, he's taking advantage of what he can do, what's best now. The guy is 6'9", 250 pounds, very athletic, quick first step. He's a strong he's a strong boy. So I got to put in the swear jar, but
thanks for joining
all
me,
good,
He goes down to the paint. He uses his speed, his quickness. He's finishing well at the rim. He's going to the free throw line. I like it. And then the defense drops back a little bit, allows him to take an open 3. He's knocking down a couple of 3s a game. I don't mind it. He's playing smart basketball on the offensive end. I don't mind it. RJ Barrett now trying to get to the basket better, finishing stronger at the rim, looking to make the basket instead of drawing the foul. He's looking more poised. That's good. I want to see more from them. I have every right as a Knicks fan to want to see more from my players. I'm not going to baby RJ. He just got $100 million. He's not a rookie. He's a veteran now. He's 4 years in the league. Yep. I want to see him do what he can do. Okay, players like Isaiah Hartenstein, who ruined absolutely everything for this franchise and the fan base. There's no reason why he's on the court. You have $6 million in a 3-year contract for Jericho Sims. Utilize him properly. Play him. I wasn't a big fan of giving Mitch $60 million, to be honest. I didn't think you needed to pay him 4 years, $60 million. I thought it was a lot of money. So you could have let him walk. It's a lot of money. If you want to pay him $40 million, go ahead. But now I'm chewing my words. He's playing some great basketball. Great basketball. Kid's playing defense, is getting some solid rebounds, both offensively and defensively. He's anchoring the paint. I'll give him the credit. Last night he had a great game. Yeah. So again, I'm not one of those fans that I'm going to come back to you and be like, oh, well, 6 months ago you were talking bad about this guy, and now you're defending him, because I'm a Knick fan. If someone's doing bad, I'm going to say he's doing bad. If he's playing well, I'm going to say he's playing well, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I like 100%. That. Love that. And when you look at Mitchell Robinson, this has been the best stretch of his career, right? Knock on wood, he doesn't get injured, but that's normally what happens to Mitchell Robinson. He'll have like 5 to 10 games in a row that he'll look amazing, but then he gets injured and he has to miss about like 2 or 3 weeks, and it takes him a while to get back to where he was before that injury. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, one thing I like is that you're willing to be that guy who says, I used to, and now I'm eating my words. A lot of times we don't do that. A lot of times, especially in spaces, people aren't willing to be like, I was wrong, or like, hey, it can be both, and that's the big thing I talk about all the time is like when we swing the pendulum from it either has to be all bad or all good, we're not watching actual basketball. We're just trying to get our point across. Like we're not looking at the truth, And so even last night, I think it was Jay from Florida, and most times him and I agree, but he was talking about that 8-game win streak, and how it is dream and not reality. And though I love the poetry of what he was saying, I also think that like if we don't get takeaways even from those times, we miss out because we learned a lot from that 8-game win streak. But we also can't be so delusional that the 8-game win streak blinds us from what the season already was before and the problems that we still have at hand. Like there's got to be that middle ground of I'm going to enjoy the good things of this, but I'm not going to negate the bad things of this. So I have mine, but I want to hear like as a fan, yes, it obviously wasn't sustainable because of this 9-man rotation makes absolutely no sense for longevity. Like bottom line, if anyone plays that many minutes, it's going to cause an issue. Miles McBride going from 8 minutes to 46 minutes and us thinking that he's going to be able to pull off all these free throws and all these things when he's shooting more free throws in one game now than he has all season because of his lack of minutes. Like we know that that's not, but what are some like good takeaways that you were able to at least see from that 8-game stretch? Like we know the negatives of like being delusional and thinking that it was going to completely be perfect from that point on. But what are some good things that you were able to learn from that 8-game stretch as a Knick fan?
Something that I didn't learn, but I knew, but I feel like most Knick fans didn't know. I like Quentin Grimes a lot, man. And people are a Grimes hive or a Cam hive. I like both players, and I think they play phenomenal together.
I'm not cutting you off, Mo. I want you to keep going, but you said it right there. I still don't understand why does there have to be a Cam hive? Why does there have to be a Grimes hive? I don't understand. Why does it have to be separate camps? Why can't we as fans say, hey, these are two guys that actually could help us and be good?
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
But go ahead. My bad.
The thing about Quentin Grimes,
struck a nerve.
That's all good. Quentin Grimes shows you they can do more than just shoot the basketball. Okay? Yeah. Quentin Grimes was a point guard in high school, point guard in college until he went to Houston where he transferred, and then his coach wanted him to play the 2. Guy can put the ball on the floor. He's a 3-way scorer. Can shoot the ball. He's shown you multiple times now where he's getting to the basket. He has that famous little wraparound pass now to Mitchell Robinson. Shows he can pass the ball. He has high basketball IQ, and he's very well coached. So Quentin Grimes to me is just someone that Knick fans should see. Like, you have a guy on a rookie contract still. He's going to be here for a couple of years. They don't want to trade him for a reason, because a player like Quentin Grimes is what you need on any contending championship caliber team or even a playoff caliber team. That's the guy that you want. Someone that's going to play with grit. He's going to be tough. He's going to knock down the shot for you. Yes, he has some proof still. Still a young kid. I'll give him more time because he's not paid yet. He's not RJ Barrett. He's not paid yet. But I think that Quentin Grimes, with the right amount of time, the right amount of looks and touches, I want him to take 15 shots a game. But you have Randall here. You have RJ here. You have these other guys here. But I think that Quentin Grimes can be something very special. I like defensively how he did, and people will tell me he got absolutely smoked yesterday by Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is one of the biggest guards to ever play the game.
Right.
The guy's a pro. The guy's a top 3 player in the NBA in my eyes. So, like, it's not that easy, but I think it was a team effort instead of just Quinn Grimes. But that was the biggest thing to me. But the one thing about the 8-game winning streak that you said, Phil, that I want to talk about, I think a lot of people take things the wrong way when some Knicks fans you think are being negative. I wouldn't say it as negative. If you look at the picture as a whole for later on in the future, what's your main goal as the Knicks? You want to win a championship. You want to build a team to win a championship. So when people are talking about it isn't sustainable and that you don't have the right pieces, and then people like, we have the right pieces, we have the talent. Look what just happened yesterday. These guys dropped 30, the other guy dropped 20. He had 15 assists. If you're thinking at the end of the season, realistically, what's your record going to be? Whether you're at 500, 2 games above 500, 2 games under 500, you make the play-in, you make the playoffs, you win one round in the playoffs, what's going to happen next? Then what? You have to draft, right? What are you going to be, a 15th, 16th pick in the draft? Then what?
Yeah.
What's your move now? So you weren't bad enough to get a high draft pick. You weren't good enough to make it far in the playoffs. Now you're at the same spot you were in last year. What are your moves now? So I think that's the question that Jay brings up, that I bring up, that Poppa brings up, that Ari brings up. I feel like it's an important question. Knicks fans, they live for the moment. They get very happy for the moment. And I understand it. It's good to have fun sometimes. But if we think about the future, wanting to build a team, thinking about a rebuilding process that takes 2 to 4 years, not just a retool that you guys do every year, every 2 years, it's a fair point to bring up as a Knicks fan because you've been stuck in mediocrity for the past 20 years. So like, there's nothing wrong with it. That's why I feel like everyone deserves their own opinion, but I feel like there's nothing wrong with thinking about the future, that this team at best will win 45 games maybe. They go on a nice little winning streak at the end of the season. But when you get to playing these contending teams after the trade deadline, people are going to want to win some games now. People want a higher seed in the playoffs. It's going to get harder. It's going to get much harder. So we'll see what happens then.
Yeah.
Real quick before we move around, shout out Chris Flash in the chat. Chris Flash. What up, broski? We got still Knicks fan Ron John in the chat. What's good,
my
Knicks
man
fan?
Ron? What it do?
Phil, Jiggaman, Heck, and your special guest, Big Mo. This loss hurts the soul. Facts. Also, Jonathan in the chat. What up, my guy? He said, "Why do the Knicks always seem to choke in the fourth quarter?"
It's a part of our DNA. It's really a part of this team's DNA. I just want to give a quick shout out to Ron. Prayers and thoughts. I hope your wife is feeling better at this moment, Ron. Hope all is well with the family, my guy. But to what Jonathan said, it's just in our DNA. This has been something that's been a part of the Knicks DNA for the past 20 years. Like, I remember when the Knicks used to go down by double digits in the first quarter and then try to make their way to come back towards the end of the game, and we'll lose it all the time. So it's just, when you're a team that you're used to losing, after a while, you're just waiting for it to happen. You're just waiting for the shoe to fall off. You're just waiting for that heartbreak just to happen. And if you're a fan base of that team, it just comes with the nature. It's like being a Jet fan. Ooh, sorry, Jigga.
You know, really, I don't get enough abuse on this show.
You swear about 3 or 4 times. I needed one.
It's all right though. It's my money. I'm swearing, right? Just like it was my money to put that on my arm. How you doing? Shut up. All right. So going back to a couple of things Mo said. One, I think you and Phil both said it, and it was it's okay to change your take. That's the whole point. Right? Especially if you're doing content. You can like somebody on Monday and not like them on Tuesday. Shit, I like my kids on Monday. Some of them I don't like on Wednesday. You know what I mean? But perfect example, the Hartenstein conversation, right? I literally started a fan club for this man for one game. It lasted 6 hours. And then we had a game the next night. We remembered that he was doo-doo. So we took him off. All right. If I have to bring that graphic up ever again on this show, that's a sign that our season is dog water.
Hey, right? just remember the last game that we won was the game that that Reggie Miller was calling him the Joker of the East, the Jokic of the East. That's the last game. That's the last game that we won. That's the last game we won.
Perfect example of our season so far. That comment right there says it all. All right, but let's go back to last night. I felt, you know what? I think Grimes is the one that probably got the biggest hurt and pain out of that entire game last night. To have the showing that he had, right? This should have been that moment where we won that game and you're able to walk away and be like, Grimes and the Knicks beat the Mavs. Like, that was his moment, right? The boy balled out last night and we ruined it. And I feel like we've ran into that a couple times this season, right? Where we've had that play that's like, oh, RJ went off. And then we still got the L. Oh, this is one of Julius's best games. And then we got the L. Wasn't it also the Mitch game? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, one of Mitch's best games this season, and we walked away with an L.
The RJ game
kills me. Kills me.
RJ game
when we do. Yeah, go ahead. The RJ game, perfect example, right?
Yeah, and so to that and to Mo's thing, like this is why I was talking about like certain things that I did take away from that 8-game streak. Was I don't think we saw the Grimes that we saw last night without that strength rotation where he got those kind of minutes and he got that kind of playing time. Like, I feel like Grimes in that time was able to start coming into himself. And he silenced a lot of people like that were doubting him. Like, this kid has a pretty big ceiling, in my opinion. Like, I think that he can continue to grow. And like you were saying, can be an integral part to our team, moving forward. Like, does that mean he's the here and now? No, but Knicks fans need to stop thinking that everything's going to be a here and now instant gratification. Like, this kid is finally being able to play. He's finally healthy, and he's proving time and time again that he can actually come in when we need him and do something amazing. He can be a great player with the right things around him. But I think it's going to be a coaching thing that, once again, needs to change in order for him to be successful. And so in that time, that's what I saw. I also saw, and this is the one thing that irks me, because I've been celebrating Randall with you because he has been playing good ball. But in some of those earlier games, he showed that he can actually play good defense. And that's the one thing that's really been irking me over these last few days, because it's not a matter of that he can't play. Like Fournier is trash on defense. One of the worst defenders I've ever seen in my life. But one thing I will never say is that Evan Fournier didn't at least try. Whether he was looking like a monkey holding on to people because that's all he could do was hold on to them to stop them from shooting, he at least tried. And that's been my problem with Randall these games, is that he's making a choice to only play one side of the ball. He showed us that he can, and that's an issue. And so that's something we have to figure out moving forward. Like, are we going to build a team around someone who makes a choice to only earn 50% of the bag that he's been given? Like that's a huge thing that I saw there. It also showed me that, like, when it comes to our team, we don't have any coaching that actually changes things. We've talked about the fourth quarter of doom going into ISO. Any good coach is going to stop that. Any good coach is going to call that stuff out. Any good coach is going to be like, we cannot result in that. And anyone who does it is going to be a problem, because we played well in that 8 stretch when it came to passing the ball. And now that we have some hype behind us and we're starting to play teams, everyone wants to flex their muscle in the fourth quarter. And what does it do? Gets us another L. And that's ridiculous. It also showed us that no matter how many minutes we give iHeart, he's not going to be good. So I'm glad for that 8-game stretch, because now we're in the trade period. We can move him. Like, find a way to move him. I don't care if you get a 2nd-round pick. Do something to get him off of our roster so that someone else can get in there. And lastly, it showed me that Tibbs was either forced or made a decision on his own to go to the 9-man rotation, and that was fine. But it also shows that he only has this much wiggle room when it comes to adjustments, because these last few games showed that no matter how great that 8-man rotation, 9-man rotation was for that winning streak, our players are now gassed, and we have millions of dollars on the bench, and we're willing. We talked about this before. My biggest thing is he was willing to let the winning streak lose and stop. As high as New York was when it came to the fact that we were winning, he let that slip through our fingertips because he didn't want to play certain people. Like, that shows that our coach is not willing to learn or budge, and we can't move forward with that.
I have a question for you.
I have
a question. Like, if you guys remember from last night's game, the ball movement, everything looked so fluid. Everything was happening easily.
Yep.
This is probably like a take, like a lot of Knick fans that are listening probably don't want to hear from me. But your big 3, your mid 3, whatever you want to call them, and Brunson and Randall and RJ Barrett, these are 3 type of players that need the ball in their hands to thrive. These are 3 type of players that need to play on ball, and they don't like playing off ball. Okay, last night you had 2 of these guys out. You had Randall still there, but you had a point guard that doesn't need the ball in his hand, that was willing to get rid of the ball. Guys moving without the ball with Quentin Grimes being there instead of RJ Barrett being there. And I haven't seen the offense one time this season be as fluid as it was last night. These guys look, in the first quarters, they look like they've played together for 5 years. People are moving without the ball. People getting the right spots. The right passes are being made. 4 or 5 passes before the ball's getting a shot attempt. And when you have Brunson, who looks to get his shot first, when you have RJ Barrett, who's looking to get his own, you have Julius Randle who wants to play his ISO ball. You have 3 guys that thrive of playing one-on-one basketball, and you're putting them together. It's not going to be the most beautiful thing every time. And it's
I love that you said that, Mo, because these 2 always have to talk me out, because I'm always like the guy that wants to put like a little Twitter poll out there, be like, ooh, let's stir up the pot a little bit. And these 2 are like, no, stop, no. So they never let me. But the one last night, I wanted.
No, I'm still not letting you. Yeah,
I know. All right, I know.
I like Brunson. I like Brunson. I think he's one of the smartest point guards in the league. I think he has probably top 5 footwork in the NBA. I think he has very high basketball IQ for his size. But I just feel like the Knicks rushed bringing him here with Randall here, with this here, and not put the right pieces around each other. And I think he's still great. I feel like if Brunson hasn't played all season, the Knicks would have probably lost 10 more games than now. I think he carried the Knicks single-handedly by himself. He handles the New York media very well. But I just think that with the players that you have on the team that you're paying all this money to, you have to figure out a balance between them so these guys can play better off the ball and play better in different situations. And people will tell you, well, they have been. RJ dropped 44 with all 3 of them on the court. Randall dropped 30-point games. They went on an 8-game winning streak. I understand, but it's not a pretty 8-game winning streak. Sometimes the basketball going on. Sometimes it's a little rough. They're getting wins by 5-6 points. And I think Jonathan asked that question, why do we keep losing in the fourth quarter?
Right.
If you look at the same consistency of why we lose every game while we're up and we give up that lead, it's the same thing every time. We go back to ISO basketball the last 4 or 5 minutes. There's no coaching. There is no coaching. They leave. Like, you brought in Brunson to have the ball in his hands in the last 4 minutes of games. You want the ball in your point guard's hand. I don't care if he's over 30. Leave the ball in his hand. Let him run a play. Get someone else involved. A defense starts to collapse on him. They attack him. He can get the ball to somebody else. Let him penetrate and kick the ball out. I don't want to see ISO ball for 14 seconds in the shot clock. It's terrible.
Do you guys, I'm going to ask you guys this question, and I put it to the chat as well, because I feel like, how weird is it that after last night, the question you can ask yourself is, if we had RJ and JB playing last night, do we win that game?
For me, and I'm just keep it simple because I got to dip out, get ready for that interview. For me, it's very easy to say that, yeah, we win the game with Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett, right? But at the same time, do you get the same game out of Emmanuel quickly? Do you get the same game out of Quentin Grimes? To Big Mo's point, a lot of people were able to play in spots that they haven't played in this season, and they look comfortable, right? Emmanuel quickly, he looked very comfortable. Quentin Grimes being that second scoring option behind Julius Randle looked very comfortable. Deuce McBride, shout out to Deuce McBride, because everybody thought he was just going to ride the bench this. Well, I should say everybody. A lot of people thought he was going to ride the bench this season. And listen, look what he did. He made Derrick Rose into a role player who just rides the bench, and he plays defense. So you got to give credit to Deuce McBride. But what I want to see going forward from this team, it's just a level of consistency. I just want to see consistency. I don't want to see you win 8 games in a row and then lose 4 games in a row. Like Big Mo said, you lose 6 games. I mean, you win 6 games, you lose 7 games. You win 5 games, you lose 3 games. That's not what we want to see. I just want a level of consistency going forward. What the record's going to be at the end of the season, I'm not sure. I had it at 38 wins, just like Big Mo said earlier, 38 wins. It's looking like it's going on that same path right now to be at 38 wins. But fellas, Big Mo, I'll let you guys finish the conversation. Big Mo, like I said, appreciate you joining the show. If you need anything on the back end when it comes to any of the technical things, don't be scared to reach out to myself, Phil, or Jigga. Mostly Jigga, because he handles all that. I'm speaking for him. But guys, I appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all on the next episode.
The cuss police is gone. Peace out to the cussing police. All right.
First of all, language, young man. Language, young man. All right.
Go. All
right. To answer Big Mo's question, I personally don't think that moving forward long term, a Jalen Brunson Randall thing works. Like, I just don't. Like, I personally yes, it has worked in some of those games. But just because something works in some doesn't mean it's a good solution. Like if in 50% of the games it works and 50% of it doesn't, we are still a 50% team. Like we're still a 500 team. I don't want that next year. Like that doesn't work.
I want to hear that from you, man.
Yeah, their egos just don't work together. Like it doesn't. You can't have two guys that are going to want that ball in that time frame. And Randall has played well, but he has not accepted that that's not his role anymore. And I don't think he's going to accept it as long as we have Tibbs as a coach, because Tibbs, even though Brunson was brought in for that, Tibbs has this weird man crush on Randall and never readjusts expectations when it comes to Randall. So you look at the Chicago game that we lost, and in those last 4 or 5 minutes, it wasn't ISO ball from them trying to get back into the game. It wasn't. Even though they have a player that 9 times out of 10 they will go to in that final minute to be their closer, which is DeMar DeRozan, it wasn't DeMar DeRozan show for the last 4 or 5 minutes. They were still facilitating the ball to each other. And then when it came to the last minute of the game, DeMar put it in his hands and he won it because he knew his role was to be that guy. But he didn't have to be that for the last 5 minutes where the defense just locks it down by the last few minutes, the last minute of the quarter, because he wasn't trying to do it for that last 5. So they still had to guard other players because they were still shooting. That's the huge difference for us, is that last quarter becomes ISO and they just start defending that one guy. And then by the time it needs to be a clutch bucket, that person's already been locked down for the last minute. How are they going to knock down a clutch bucket? So I don't understand that. I don't understand how that goes forward. And to Jigga's point, where Jigga was talking about, what was your question again, Jigga? You asked something. I had it in my head.
First, all right, see, no, this is good. This is when the content world is trying to tell you, relax, bro. Bring the blood pressure down. You just had to talk about tips for a while. It's easy to get lost. All right, Mo. I know we've got you for a couple more minutes before you got to bounce, bro. We can sit here and we can harp about Tibbs, right? We all know that. I'm sorry. I say it on this show and people can clip it. They can talk about it all they want. They can always go back to episode 1 and I'll say the same thing. You can always guarantee that I'm always going to sit here and say, I am happy whether we win or lose, because as long as Tibbs is our coach, nothing's going to change. And I'm going to keep preaching that to the day that happens. Okay. Mo, what do you really want to see? What do you think really needs to be the piece we change? If you had to pick one thing for this organization, what is the one thing we have to? Thank you.
I don't think you go from one. I mean, again, like I want to say things that a lot of Knicks fans probably don't like, but I personally would start from the top going down. People have to be held accountable. Leon Rose is an agent. He's not someone that should be in the front office. I get myself someone that should be in the front office. Get yourself a Masai Ujiri. Get yourself someone like a Pelinka. Get yourself someone that's supposed to be in that front office that knows how to build a championship caliber team. Then I get a modern day coach, someone that's a player's coach. Since last year, if you check my tweets from 2021, I wanted Quinn Snyder or I wanted Will Hardy. Will Hardy was assistant coach of the Boston Celtics at the time, and I thought he would have been a perfect choice. Then Quinn Snyder, I was like, I hope Utah loses in the first round, because if they do, they're going to explode. They're going to trade everybody, and then Quinn Snyder's going to step down. That's exactly what happened. That's what I want. I want someone that's going to put these guys in the right position to succeed and get the best out of our players. Then I don't think that it's going to work with Randall, RJ, and Brunson here. My thing is that these guys are all making over $100 million. Mm-hmm. You need a star to win in today's game. You also need role players. And I personally think that trades are going to happen, because now with RJ's laceration in his finger, that stitches. That means it's a deep wound. So it's going to take weeks for the stitches to heal, because it's going to be swelling and inflammation. If he plays, he can reopen it up and he won't play for months.
Yo, so, Mo, isn't it crazy? I feel like as crazy as it is, I feel like the NBA gods are like purposely gifting us stuff, forcing our team to have to be put in situations for us to actually see change. We only got a 9-man rotation because of injuries, because of the Cam stuff. Same thing right now with the RJ situation. We're going to be forced to have to try different rotations.
And I don't think he plays Cam. I don't think he plays Cam.
We talked about it last show.
I'd say the next wing up is probably Svi, to be honest.
Yep.
I don't see how Cam Reddish going to play. I think a trade has to be made. I still would go back to firing Tom Thibodeau. I don't think he's gotten the best out of the guys. I don't think he's like, it just showed you last night where you could not tell them what to do because you're limited with your players, that you let them do what they wanted. You let them play the roles that they wanted, and they played well. They played good basketball for the first 40 minutes. And I just think a lot of changes have to be made from top to bottom. I never want to see Hartenstein and Jericho Sims together on the court at the same time. I think that's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I can't. I hate when I see those two out there.
Especially in a league where it's dominated by modern day wings, and you have no wing playing the game. Like, that's absolutely terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
Facts. All right, so Mo, before you go, bro, I mean, obviously everybody here knows who you are, but let them know where they can follow the Knick Lounge and Big Mo.
Thank you. Yeah, you can follow us on all the social media platforms, man. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. It's at the Knick Lounge. You can check us out on our website, theknicklounge.com. A lot of merch, sweaters, hoodies, beanies, coffee mugs. So you guys can drink coffee on your shows.
Yeah,
but it's nice. I appreciate you guys having me on, man. We'll definitely talk soon and do something again, man. I appreciate it.
For sure, man. Appreciate you, Big Mo.
Thank you, man. I'll see you guys later.
Talk to you soon, bro.
You guys.
Shout out to Jay Boogie in the chat. What up, Boog? Shout out to the chat. Blessings, health, happiness to you all. Happy holidays. Great show, great content. Hit that like. Yeah, you see, Jay Boogie knows. Smash it. Hurt your thumb with it. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's to the dome. Let's go. Phil. Poppa left. We're not sure if he's able to make it. He had a coach this morning with the kids and coaching, and then he carpools all of them and takes them home. So I was like, yo, take care of them kids, bro. No rush. We can set it up for another time if we need to. Phil, bro, it's you and me together for a minute, man.
Yeah.
And we won't take too long, so we can go jump in, listen to some Twitter Spaces. But oh man, you know, people don't get to see you and I as real brothers, right? The texts and the emotions that we go through together during the game. Man, last night, Phil, I mean, when I saw that game get tied, yo, my 65-inch almost became 30 inches because I was about to slam the crap out of that thing, man.
Yeah, man. It was hard, man. It was really, really hard. You know, like when I was texting back and forth tweets with Smooth from the Players Club, and him and I were just talking about like the show, and he was like, yo, the excitement you have right now, we need you in this chat, you know, in our space after, so we can chat about this. And we were on a high, and that was with a minute left that him and I were tweeting back and forth about what we were going to talk about in the Twitter space, and like, you know, being able to give Grime his roses and everything like that. And then 33 seconds, everything starts to fall apart, and me and Smooth are just like, what the frick? Like, our whole emotion changed, what we needed to talk about changed, and it was just so disappointing to like have to go into another like day of creating content talking about how we slipped through our fingertips another victory. Like, it just same thing with like,
bro. If you go back and look, if you look on the Twitter timeline yesterday, I didn't put out a tweet. I didn't comment on it. I saw you. I saw our Knicks Brew account. I saw everybody blowing it up. I saw the Let's Talk Knicks account. Everybody. And bro, I think I texted you, right? Where I said I have this feeling something's gonna go wrong, and I didn't put a single tweet out. I didn't want to comment. I just had this feeling, and then it started happening, and then boom, the Luka show, and I was just like, oh man, that was it. That was it. It hurt. Yeah, it really did.
I was happier than a pig in crap to be able to, like, I was ready to go, oh my gosh, Grimes helped us put an L on Luka's calendar. Like, we did it. Like, we got our revenge game, and we didn't even have some of our players. Like, I was ready for that celebration. And just like regular Knick fashion, you know, I walk away with heartache, having to tell my wife, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Like, I need to breathe. I need to breathe. We can talk in about 10, 15. Just give it like, I need to get in this space, and I need to vent. Like, I need to go into spaces tonight. I can't go to bed with this anger on my shoulder. And it's just sad, man. It's just very, very sad to walk away with that. I'm at least thankful, you know, to see Grimes and know the heart that he has, and the fact that, you know, his future is bright in the NBA. But things got to change, man. Things definitely have to change. Like, we are the laughing stock of the NBA when it comes to closing out games. We are the laughing stock. Like, I know that the Reggie Millers and the all the other announcers that see us as a gimmick are having their way today, and I don't even want to turn on any of those networks because it's going to be the laughing stock about how Luka had a monumental game because the Knicks do not know how to play 4 quarters of basketball. Like, it's just a sad story that we've had for way too many seasons.
Yeah, and you know, I'll end it on this. I mean, you know, can't take anything away from Luka, right? I mean, the kid knows how to ball, right? It sucks. We should have stepped up. It shouldn't have happened, right? I mean, at this point, we just got to move on. That's all we can do. You know, yeah. I mean, it sucks to see it go out the way it did. But at the same time, we can't get too high on it or low because we say it all the time. We have so many questions that need to be answered. Until those do, we're going to keep running into this, man. Last night was amazing and then instantly turned into heartbreak. Yep. It is what it is. You know, I mean, yeah. I'm so mad about it. Last night, you know what the highlight was, bro? After that game, I got a new massager, though that gun one for Christmas. I got that as a Christmas gift. Got to use it last night. So thank you, Knicks, because the stress level after that, I was just like, it was banging everywhere. Bro, let's end the show. Everybody in the chat, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Let's be real. Phil and I want to jump around. We got to go see what's going on in the KCDA chat. I'm sure it's going to be lit this morning. Appreciate Big Mo, Nick Lounge coming through. We'll get Poppa left rescheduled for the next one. We'll see y'all Friday morning right here, 11 a.m. On that note, peace. We're out.